Hello everybody, my name is Chris Gorgeous and this is my wife Johnny Gorgeous. So recently we've been receiving a lot of questions via our Instagram page, and today's question that we're going to be answering is from Fourth Wall Flower, and she first starts off by saying, "Thank you for your videos and posts. I would love to learn more about the process of becoming a certified interpreter. What type of experience and classes are needed, as well as any degrees needed? Keep up the great work." So let's go ahead and go step by step as far as what it takes to become an interpreter.
Well, to start with, if you're new to the language, the best thing you can do is take a class to learn the language itself. So your local community college, most of them have a sign language class that you can take. Typically, colleges provide ASL 1 through 4. Some of the universities provide higher levels than that, but most community colleges 1 through 4. And go take those classes, associate as much as you can with the deaf. Sometimes even the instructors themselves will be deaf, which is amazing, because then you're really able to learn from a native speaker. And after that, you can, if you want your national certification, which will allow you to do court, legal, pretty much anything under the sun, you need a bachelor's degree. It doesn't matter what your major is, as long as it's equivalent to those credits needed for your bachelor's degree. And then you will go and you'll take your national certification. However, if you're not wanting to go down that road, you're like, you know what, court's not for me, or I don't want to touch legal, that's fine. Maybe education's more your style. So you can take your ESSE certification or the EIPA. Between the two, I would recommend your EIPA certification. It holds a little more weight. However, with the scaling process, you need to work in the state of California a 4.0 or higher. Most other states require a 3.5 or 3.0. Some don't even have any at all. But for the state of California, it requires a 4.0 or better. And with that certification, you can work K through 12. You can work for an interpreting agency. You could do college, anything like that. But that's my advice and what certifications you would need for that. Do you have anything you think would be better?
So basically, just to summarize, step 1, learn the language.
Yep.
And step 2, start getting experience. So my advice would be to not wait until you are NID certified or getting your certification, but just start getting that experience just right off the bat. And so ways that you could do that is just practicing at home, or if you're out and doing a deaf social, and try interpreting for some of the deaf if they need help ordering their food, or if you're just bringing a hearing friend that doesn't know sign language, try interpreting for the ones that you're there in person with. And you could just look up YouTube videos, or just start getting your mindset around interpreting, because it really is a learning process, and I wouldn't wait until you acquire a certification, because it's just going to make getting that certification that much harder if you don't have any experience at all.
And one of the fun things that I like to do when I was practicing, while I was already an interpreter, but just to keep practicing every day, was when I was driving, whether it be to a job or just in general, any street signs that I would see, I would fingerspell. And I'd be like, okay, practicing it, making sure it was clear. Another thing I would do is the radio comes on, a song, I would be in the car driving and trying to like visualize, okay, how would I sign this song so it's not literal, but it's like what the song means. Or if I was at a stoplight and I wasn't driving, I would sit there and practice signing the song. Like, okay, I would do this, or that. Oh, no, that's not what I would do. That is not what that song means, or something. And you're just kind of everyday practicing. And it kind of gives you that feel for interpreting, to be like, oh, okay, all right, I know what's going on. Or even if you're at home watching TV and you're watching The Big Bang Theory, or you're watching something and you're like, oh, I want to interpret that now. Their content can be kind of like a big deal with their science terms, so probably not the best one to practice with. But if you're just watching a TV show at home or watching a movie, how would you interpret that? How would I use my facial expressions to match what's being said to really emphasize the point? You know, try to find fun ways for you to practice at home too. It doesn't have to be, okay, I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to have this lecture on there and I'm going to practice through it. No, make it fun. Make it something that you don't get tired of. Like, oh gosh, I don't want to do this again. No, it could be something, that's lighthearted and just, it's giving you that practice of being able to take something and put it back out in sign language and to get the point across. And that's what you're really trying to do.
Yeah, and if you ever look into like polyglots and people that know multiple languages, 3, 4, 5, or even more languages than that, one of the things that they all have in common is that they find a process of learning the language and they make it fun, they make it enjoyable. And if we tackle a language and it's not fun, most of us are just going to quit. And so that would be my number one recommendation with both learning sign language in the beginning, is just find processes that are enjoyable, that are fun. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, watching like vlogs on YouTube or going out to deaf events or taking an ASL class or just, learning sign language with friends, whatever process that you find enjoyable, continue doing that and continue that process, because you want to make sure that that is a long-term thing. And the same thing applies for interpreting. Find ways to make it fun. And, whether it's watching TV or movies or interpreting for songs or, finger spelling things on the freeway, just make sure that you find a process that works for you and that is enjoyable for you. And another thing I would recommend too is that think about what it is that you want to interpret for. Are you wanting to interpret for education? Are you wanting to interpret for lower grade levels, upper grade levels? Do you want to interpret for STEM classes, college classes? So whatever it is that you want to interpret for, I would just start familiarizing yourself with those kinds of vocabulary and those kind of concepts. Because, if you want to interpret for that, you're going to need the vocabulary for that. So that would be my recommendation for that.
And just as a couple of recommendations for something fun, if you want to interpret it, there's a song, I hope I remember who the artist is, but it's Hot and Cold. Was it Katy Perry's song?
Oh, yeah.
When you're cold.
Uh-huh.
That's a fun one to interpret because it's really simple.
Mm-hmm.
The lyrics to her song are really simple. You want to do something a little more challenging with a little more spice to it? Bohemian Rhapsody, interpret that. I had to do that once at a school. Oh my God. Fun, but woo! It's intense. Yeah. So make it fun for yourself and enjoy it. Enjoy practicing and find these little things. You can even go online on YouTube and you'll see some people who how they interpret, how this person interprets a song or how this interpreter interprets a lecture, and just kind of pull from other interpreters too. And you can really get a feel for how it's done and take what you want from different people and make it your own. Because in the end, you want it to be enjoyable and you want to have a good time doing it.
Right. And just going along the lines, too, of making progressive steps towards certification. There are ITP programs out there, which is an acronym for Interpreter Training Programs. And I would check locally to see if there are any of those in your area. Those are really great ways to get your feet wet and really start understanding what it takes to interpret, because there is a lot more to it than meets the eye. And there's lag time, and there's really getting the concept right and making sure you are conveying the message appropriately for the person that you're interpreting for, because not everybody signs the same way, and you want to make sure that you are conceptually and accurately conveying what is being spoken from the teacher or the doctor or whomever it is that you're interpreting for to the client or to the student. So ITPs are really great for that. And also just a real quick gloss over the certifications. If you are looking at the ESSE, just keep in mind that they are looking for certain things. They tend to be a little more English based. So when you are setting up your grammar, they do test you on C-sign, PSE, and ASL. And for the expressive evaluation, you actually can choose which one you're most comfortable with. If you're unfamiliar with those, you might want to look into what are the differences between C-sign, PSE, and ASL. And that way you can start to identify how you sign and you can carry that forward, and they will also test your receptive skills in all three of those: C-SIGN, PSE, and ASL. But they're looking for speech readability. They're looking for, are you mouthing the words? Are you finger spelling the key vocabulary multiple times, making sure the student is understanding the key vocabulary? The EIPA certification is a little more ASL focused. Basically, you let them know your signing style, and then they will evaluate you based on that. So know what the different certifications are, know what you need to pass in your local state. And step 1, learn the language. Step 2, just to start finding fun ways to get into the interpreting process, whether it's YouTube videos or signing songs or interpreting songs, going to deaf socials, things like that. And then as you progress, then you can start looking into the certifications. But anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay, great. So if you have any other further questions for us, feel free to reach out to our Instagram page at ASL Basics, or you can email me directly at chris@aslbasics.com. And if you found this valuable, be sure to like the video and subscribe, and you can click that bell and all that other stuff. And until next time, we'll see you in the next one. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Have a sit. Not that close.
Got all kinds of sass today.
My bad. There you go. Okay.
Today's question comes from Fourth Wall Flower from not TikTok. Let me do that again. Today we're going to be going through. And the question is, well, first she says, "Thank you. I know I have a lot to learn still, but I'm excited for this." I'm reading the wrong comment. So what she really says is, "Thank you for your videos."
She had to leave it. Reap what you sow.
Hey, I made a basket.